Hello everyone, I'm going to show you the lousy weather we've been having today. It is raining. It's been raining since last night. As of this morning, I think Ed said we had gotten like 0.8 if I'm not mistaken. But I'm going to show you how much rain we've gotten so far. We're going through a lot of orange and red cells and all that, which brings a lot of rain down. I know when I looked at radar this morning, it said that we were going to get between 3 and 5 inches of rain. We still have quite a few hours to go with heavy rain. And actually right now it's not too bad. I mean, it's raining, but it's not a torrential downpour. I don't know if you can hear the thunder. But anyway, let's look at what we have so far. And if you can see, let me turn this around. We are at almost 4. I think just shy of 4. Some of the numbers are not as light anymore, but yeah, that thing is almost full. So by the end of this storm, it might be overflowing. You can see a lot of puddling on our gravel road here. Ed had opened up the high tunnels before he went to market this morning. And I ran out here before when we had just a slight lull to close them all down. But you can see lots of puddles everywhere. Let's go look at our pond. We have a little bit of standing water in the big tunnel. I know that because I walked in there. I'm not sure about the little tunnel. But at about 4 inches of rain so far, like I said, we got a few more hours of more rain. Everything's squishy. You can see our pond there is, you can't see the definition of the pond anymore. It's just onto the grass now. Lots and lots of water today. Yep, you can see the water way on the grass. Way on the grass. Let's take a peek inside the big tunnel. And I know we have the field in the back has a retention to hold water when we get rain, so hopefully nothing drowns out there. We have a cantaloupe and watermelon back there. And here I'm going to see if we put rain gutters here to get most of this water out of here, going down to that field or coming up towards the pond on both of these little houses. So, because when it rains, this area here gets a lot of water because it gets all the water from both of the greenhouses going onto there. All right. We got a little bit of standing water right there. Main aisleways don't look too bad. Usually some water seeps in through here. It always sounds worse in the high tunnel with all the rain. But look. I wonder if we got a small leak up there or if it's just condensation. Hopefully it's just condensation. But here we do have water coming in. It's very squishy down there. Yep, there's a little bit of standing water. This row here always gets standing water. That's why those tomato plants are not as healthy as those tomato plants. Because whenever we get rain, they get some water there. And that's another reason why having the rain, can't think of what the word is, the gutters on that side would probably help too, to keep a lot of the water from there going down the side and not right at the edge of the tunnel. All right, let's take a peek in the little tunnel. We dig a little bit of a trench here so that when it hits there, hopefully some of it goes down and goes down towards the pond. So a little bit is coming off, but there's still a lot of rain standing there. All right, let's see what we have in here. Not too bad. Better than the other tunnel. So yeah, I don't have any standing puddles in here at all. That's good. No standing. A little bit of seepage there. You can see it's wet, but no standing water whatsoever. That's good. I'm happy. No standing water. Very good. I got still a lot of plants to put in the ground. Here's more cantaloupe and watermelon that needs to go in, but with all this water that's coming down right now, I'm not sure when that's going to happen. Here. See lots of cherry tomatoes. Lots of little cucumbers. Look at all those cucumbers. Lots of cucumbers. Look at all these cucumbers. These cucumbers are about, I'd say almost 3 weeks behind those. So they got a lot of catching up to do. I think that one got stepped on by mistake. Oh well. Yeah, you can see there's a little bit of water that came in. The ground is a little wet, but it's nice and firm. I don't feel any squishiness under my foot. So that looks all good. And while I'm here, see, we've got peppers coming on. There's another one over there, and pretty much every plant in here has a pepper. Very good. Very good. All right. I'm going to go back to the house and get out of this wet clothes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to dump the rain gauge. I had to think about what it was called. The rain gauge, because we're still going to have another 3 hours of heavy rain, and this way we have an accurate reading of what it actually is. So there it's at, and I believe it's just shy of 4. No, actually it's on the 4 line right there. So I'm going to dump it and make sure it's all out. And this way we have an accurate reading, because like I said, we have like another 3 hours or so of rain, and that only goes up to 5 inches.
Good morning, fellow gardeners. Well, what a storm we had yesterday. I was at the Lenexa Farmers Market, and anyway, Delia called me, and where I was at in Lenexa, Kansas, the weather had not gotten so bad. Now, it was just the way the rains were coming. You can see how the grass is laid down right there. Ironically, it's not really laid down over in this other area. So Delia yesterday, I asked her while I was on the way home to please do some filming. I haven't seen it yet. So I do know, she said she dumped the gauge when it was at 4 inches, because I didn't know how much this rain gauge could hold. Turns out it's only 5. We currently have another 6/10 inch of rain. I'll dump it. So altogether in this one rain, we had 4.5 inches of rain. That is terrible. That was a lot of rain. I tell you what we did over here the day before. We're going to do more. We're going to move these calves, these heifers today, and they're going to come over to me because they don't have much to eat right now. But this is new. I have finally had the time to change the pasture a little bit, to manage it a little bit. First off, there's the 2 girls right there. They're looking for some feed, and of course I'll share with you what we got. There is we got the Gallagher S100, and what we did is we actually buried, not very deep, but we buried a line coming off of their grounding rod over here, because this is the main fence. I want you to I kind of want you to understand kind of my game plan here. This ground is so soft. What I did is all along this fence, I ran a double line, about 42 and 24, 18 to 24 and around 40, 42 inches. I ran a double line along the edge because eventually we're going to have calves in here, and just getting it started. So this runs all the way down to the end of the line and it comes back. Then I took, it was my choice, but I took ferrules and I ferruled it right there, joined them by ferruling it together. And then of course there's the ferrule, because that's kind of a permanent spot. That's where the electric line comes out to. I didn't want to have to deal with an overhead coming back from the, you know, from my gate. I don't want to have to deal with that. And it's easy enough to, over there to turn off the power if I want to turn it off and that type of thing. So this is permanent. That has the full sun and it gets power over here and we're good to go. So now then, that gets me hooked up to where what if I want to go ahead and take the calves or change the pasture? Well, this here will give me an infinite number of settings. On this end, it just deadheads. That's all it does. But I just put in a couple of insulator handles right there, and I can hook onto this at any point. So anytime I want to give them more space, less space, and I can also add another, I want to put another line in, you know, so kind of divide it into thirds, if you will, if not move these lines occasionally, because every 16 feet I can rehook up to another steel fence post on the other end. It's my way to try to manage this grass much better than we have. The strawberries and the planting have taken over for us. So today, this is, or 2 days ago when Brett and I came over here and did this, we actually turned right around and I said, this is the training period for the calves. They need to know what the hot fence is. We don't have to go crazy with it, but they need to know what the hot fence is. This is where I'm going to move them. Now here's the beautiful part about this. Guess what? I can repeat this process on the other side of the fence, hook up and go the other direction without having to move my Gallagher solar livestock electric fence charger. So they're going to come in here for a little bit. They're going to get a lot of feed right in there. There's a lot of feed. So there's another paddock that we're going to invent today. That's what today's job is. We're going to hook this up. This will not take too long here. This is not going to take us too long. This was our training day, and then Brett seen now kind of what I'm trying to do. So I have 2 pastures here right now. And then there's going to be a third over there where the grass is knocked down from the storm. But anyway, yeah, the old Lily Beth there is honoring the fence. So's Cookie. They, you know, and where they wanted to be that day, and it was so warm, it was around 90 degrees, 87 degrees. They were wanting to be up in that grove of trees up in the salient. But anyway, it's a good practice for them. So now they're obviously wanting more grass than what I have in here, and I need to move them. It's no doubt about it. So they're even talking to me. It's telling you that they need to move. So now we'll go ahead and set it up, and we're just going to run them around this edge here into my tall grass. And I have a double fence. So this is exciting. It's exciting. It's managing what we got to manage. We're going to allow this we're going to allow this here to grow, all of this to grow up and get some more grass in it. So excited about that. Let's take a look at the farm. We'll go to the net. We'll see how bad the storm is. I know some water came into the big high tunnel, 4 inches. It comes off of Brett's field up there. So let's take a look at it. I'm concerned, folks. I have some spraying I have to do in corn That's getting tough on me right now. I certainly don't want our watermelon. I hope nothing got ripped out. I hope they have enough of their roots in. And on top of it, I hope they're all right. So something else I'll mention is, you notice I only took it up to the brace post. I didn't want to deal with an electric hot fence close here to the gate. You know, you're going to be coming in and out of here. You don't need to worry about where you bump up against, right? So barbed wire is enough to worry about getting scratched up or whatever you want to call it. But this area now is clean. So, all right, let's go take a look at the high tunnel. Hey, that was a good one, Lily Beth. That was a good one. Folks, we're at 995, 96 subscribers. We want to thank every one of you for getting us this far, and we certainly want to encourage us to get us over that 1,000 hump. Of course, we need some more watch time hours and things like that, but 1,000 subscribers is our initial goal. And but if you like this type of farming and stuff like that, or like riding along and seeing our farm, we're happy to have you follow along with us. Also love to see you out here in Kansas someday. If you're ever coming through to go to Colorado or wherever, feel free to contact us. We're always happy to show you our farm and let you see the place. I mean that sincerely. So anyway, let's head on up. But do us a favor, hit that like and subscribe. Help us grow this channel a little bit more. We'd sure appreciate it. Come grow with us. I never experienced so much flash flooding in my life as I did from Missouri and Kansas. And it's not just once or twice a year. It can happen more times than that. Delia said that the rain made it inside of the high tunnel. This side over here is kind of known to have that issue. I can feel the ground is a little soft walking underneath here. However, there's no standing water, so I'm very happy about that. So yeah, it's going the right way. That's good. So that's good. Just gotta keep on it. And let me go ahead and I'm gonna let this place dry out a little bit. Then I'll come back and tap the post. I don't know how much. I mean, look at all the moisture that's sitting on here. There is so much humidity. But we'll let this area dry out a little bit. Look how much nicer and thicker the Florida 91s are looking now. They're ready for another string, no doubt about it, to start tightening them up. Well, Delia and I came in here and tied this up 2 days ago, and you can see how it's still bushing out over the tops. That is a really good deal. Now, in this zone here, I have I brought in some topsoil from a greenhouse, and you can see that this is taller than this side. And so what I did is I'm actually having to tie up sections a little bit. You know, it's kind of screwy to have to do that, but the fact is that topsoil had a lot of nitrogen still in the soil. It's obvious it did by the looks of the way the plants are just, wherever I put the soil, the tomatoes are much taller. So anyway, I gotta treat them a little different. This is about where the whole house is, if you notice, as far as, you know, the height of the tomatoes. But these here are much smaller. Now they're still yielding a lot of fruit, so that's good. Now everybody's coming along really nice. So yeah, then we get back in here where I also filled in a spot, and here comes Brett. Here's old Brett coming across. That's pretty nice, living right next door. So you can't beat that. I'm gonna surprise him. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Well, post rain, to my surprise, I know water's gonna run off of this. The nice thing is by Brett and I putting this black plastic on. Well, we don't have erosion here, but to my surprise, look how nice we got blooms on our zucchini. It's just a matter of time on them. This, the yellow squash, I need to get some fertilizer here, right? I mean, look at that. Look at how light green they are and all that. They just, I've ran water to them, but I haven't fertilized them. And so that's the putridness of looking at them. And here, of course, is the peppers right there. So they're all looking pretty good. An okra right here. One okra looked like a cutworm maybe got it. I ain't saying it is, but let me look here. Maybe, is it cutworm or is it just, nope, it flapped up. That's what it is. Wow, that is, look at how soft that water is, or that ground is. Wow. Well, it's saturated. It's saturated. Let's go on and keep on looking, folks. And there's the potatoes, but yeah, we got, it's like walking on a waterbed here in this soil right now. That's what it's like. It's like walking in a waterbed. So real curious. Potatoes got, now that's probably not, not much erosion here, because remember when I went ahead and I hilled this, I scraped the dirt. There's a little erosion, but not too bad. Not too bad. No, I'm more concerned about long-term weed control as their weeds are starting to pop up. I need to get on it ASAP because we have young seedlings. You can see some water hemp slash palm amaranth, whatever it is, but it's starting to creep up now that the original herbicides of Command and Dual Magnum are wearing off. So I got to get in here and do some post spraying. I'm not too worried about where the plants are because they are canopying, but I am concerned about the middle. It's just going to make it a mess. Plus, on top of it, they attract insects. So remember that when it ain't just about weed control and say, oh, I'll make them live with the weeds. Remember, they're attracting, some of these weeds attract things like blister beetles, and they attract things like Japanese beetles and potato beetles. And potato beetles love a good thistle or horse nettle and all that. They will flat out be chewing on leaves on those plants. So we want to keep it down because that'll help protect our potatoes as well. Well, to my pleasant surprise, the yellow squash, the butternut squash, acorn squash, and spaghetti squash, look at how nice they are. Brett and I came down the rows here and we kind of did our some weeding while it's real muddy. Here we have our sangria, and we have Athena and Aphrodite cantaloupe. More over here, I know we have sangria and crimson sweet, and then we go right back into cantaloupe again. But look at how nice. There's what it could be looking like, folks. we're gonna mow it and get that knocked down and lay down more plastic, but that's what I'm up against. And you look at, even though we got some standing water out here after that 4 inches of rain, it'll go down. But the fact is, look how much nicer that ground is weed control wise. And there's no herbicide used. That's a fact. There's no herbicide used. We do need to, I know I'm going to have a little suffer in here where that water's standing. There's no getting around that. But water is running and getting out of here. It's just going to take time. You don't get 4 inches of rain and not have some crops covered a little bit. But it looks a lot better. I'm very blessed. I think we got it. We kind of dodged a major bullet because I was actually afraid also that my corn was going to be laying over on its side, and it's not. So that's good news. Now I just got to get in here. Once it dries up, I can get some spraying in because I got some real weeds coming on right now, and so I'll get in here and spray the corn. But the corn itself is looking good. We just got to get rid of the competition. So